Welcome to my channel. Enjoy the content and please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. In a bustling city, there lived a wealthy couple named Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence. They enjoyed a life filled with luxury, owning lavish houses, fancy cars, and successful businesses. However, despite all their riches, there was one thing that eluded them: the joy of having a child. For over a decade, they sought help through every possible means. They prayed fervently, visited numerous hospitals, and consulted traditional healers. Yet, despite their efforts, the couple remained childless, which cast a shadow over their otherwise happy lives. The longing for a child weighed heavily on their hearts, and they often felt incomplete. Friends and family tried to comfort them, but nothing seemed to fill the void. The couple's desperation grew as the years passed, and they began to lose hope. They often wondered if they would ever experience the joy of parenthood. Their lives revolved around their businesses and social events, but their hearts yearned for something more meaningful: a child to love and nurture. One day, a close friend visited them and shared stories of a mystical village not far from the city. He spoke of a unique community that worshipped snakes, where people traveled to seek blessings for wealth, health, and especially for children. Intrigued and hopeful, Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence listened intently as their friend described a sacred hut dedicated to the queen snake, believed to possess the power to grant wishes. This revelation sparked a flicker of hope in their hearts, and after much discussion, they decided to embark on this unusual journey to the village, hoping it would lead them to the child they so desperately desired. Upon arriving in the village, Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence were greeted warmly by the locals, who seemed to embody a deep sense of community and spirituality. The village was unlike anything they had ever seen, with its serene atmosphere and lush greenery. At the center stood a round hut, unique in its design, lacking doors and windows, allowing the couple to glimpse the inside where the queen snake resided. The villagers explained that the hut was sacred, and only the chosen could enter. Outside, an elderly man served as the guardian of this special place, ensuring that the rules were upheld. He had a calm demeanor, and the couple felt a sense of reverence in his presence. They learned that the queen snake was believed to be both holy and powerful, and the villagers had great respect for her. The couple listened intently as they learned about the rituals and offerings required to gain the queen snake's favor. The villagers shared stories of how the queen snake transformed into beautiful young women at night, roaming the village and answering the prayers of those who believed. This enchanting tale further fueled their desire to connect with the queen snake. The couple felt a sense of purpose as they prepared to follow the guidelines given to them, eager to seek the blessing they had longed for. As time passed, Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence diligently followed the rituals prescribed by the villagers. They brought offerings of goats, chickens, and money, hoping to please the queen snake. Each month, they returned to the village, following the old man's instructions and listening carefully to the messages he conveyed from the queen snake. They felt a growing sense of hope, believing that their devotion would soon lead to the child they desired. After 9 months of unwavering faith and commitment, a miraculous event occurred. Mrs. Lawrence discovered she was pregnant, a moment that filled them with joy and disbelief. The news spread like wildfire, and soon, friends and family came to congratulate the couple. They named their son Chidubem, which means "God leads me," reflecting their deep gratitude for the blessing they believed was a gift from both God and the queen snake. As they embraced their new roles as parents, they felt an overwhelming sense of fulfillment and happiness. However, as Chidubem grew, they began to notice peculiar behaviors. Chidubem was unlike any child they had known. At just 7 months old, their baby would occasionally vanish from his crib for brief periods, only to return quietly as if nothing had happened. He rarely cried, never fell sick, and often stared into the distance with unnerving focus. From his first day in school, the other children noticed something different. Not just in his quiet, watchful demeanor or the unusual mark on his shoulder, but in how things around him responded. Insects gathered near him without fear. Stray animals followed him home. One day, when a classmate was choking, Chidubem simply placed a hand on her back, and the object dislodged with no explanation. The teachers called it coincidence. His classmates whispered another word, magic. This strange occurrence filled the couple with concern, prompting them to seek guidance from the old man once again. When they approached the old man about their son's strange disappearances, he closed his eyes and listened intently to the spirit. After a moment, he reassured them, saying, "Your son is special. The queen snake has marked him. He will bring you blessings." This statement both comforted and puzzled the couple. They were relieved to hear that their son was destined for greatness, but they couldn't shake the feeling of unease that accompanied the mysterious happenings. As Chidubem grew older, at age 7 the strange occurrences stopped, his intelligence and talent became apparent. He excelled in school, consistently earning top grades and praise from his teachers. The villagers often spoke of his brilliance, calling him a genius. His remarkable abilities opened doors for him, and he earned a scholarship to study abroad. The couple felt immense pride as they watched their son flourish in a foreign land, achieving great success in his studies and career. By the time he reached 30, Chidubem had amassed a fortune, owning luxurious cars, beautiful homes, and enjoying a life filled with accomplishments and fame. However, amidst his success, Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence felt a longing for something they believed was missing, a daughter-in-law to complete their family. They began to pressure Chidubem to settle down and marry, hoping to see their grandchildren before it was too late. Chidubem, however, was hesitant. Despite his love for his parents, he felt torn between their wishes and his own feelings about marriage. He had always been clear about his intentions, initially saying he wasn't ready to marry. As time went on, he confessed that he didn't want to marry at all. Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence were heartbroken. They reminded him of the years they spent longing for him and how much they wanted to see the family grow. They expressed their desire to hold their grandchildren and share in the joys of family life. Chidubem felt the weight of their expectations, but he also carried a heavy secret. Before his birth, he had made a vow to the queen snake, promising to return to her 3 months after his marriage. This vow haunted him, for he knew that fulfilling it meant he would have to leave his parents and the life he had built. He had always felt a deep connection to snakes and the moon, reminding him of the promise he had made. Torn between love for his parents and the fear of his fate, he struggled to find a solution. Ultimately, he decided to acquiesce to their wishes, believing it would bring them joy. He agreed to marry a lovely woman named Sarah, hoping that this decision would finally ease the longing in his parents' hearts. The wedding was a grand affair, filled with joy, laughter, and celebration. Friends and family gathered to witness the union of Chidubem and Sarah, and the couple radiated happiness on their special day. Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence felt a sense of fulfillment as they welcomed Sarah into their family. They believed that their prayers had finally been answered, and they looked forward to the future with hope and excitement. However, beneath Chidubem's calm exterior lay a storm of emotions. He knew that the vow he had made was now looming over him like a dark cloud. The joy of the wedding did little to ease his internal conflict, and he felt the pressure of time closing in on him. Exactly 3 months after their wedding, tragedy struck. While driving back from a business meeting, Chidubem lost control of his car in a horrific accident. The crash was devastating, and despite the best efforts of the doctors, he did not survive. In his final moments, he penned a heartfelt letter to his parents, explaining the vow he had made to the queen snake and the reason behind his choices. The letter read, "Dear Mama and Papa, I love you more than words can say. I am sorry for the pain I have caused. Before I was born, my soul made a vow to the queen snake, the spirit that gave me life. The vow said I must return to her 3 months after marriage. That is why I never wanted to marry. I gave in because I wanted you to be happy. Please forgive me. I pray you find peace. I will always love you. Your son, Chidubem." When Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence received the letter, their world shattered. They were engulfed in grief, unable to comprehend the depth of their loss. Mrs. Lawrence's heart could not bear the weight of the sorrow, and she succumbed to the pain just days later. Mr. Lawrence was left alone, heartbroken and filled with regret. He reflected on their journey, the sacrifices they had made, and the choices that had led them to this tragic end. He remembered the old man, the sacred heart, and the queen snake, wishing he had never sought her help. The wealth, fame, and the child they had gained came with an unimaginable price. While the city mourned Chidubem's untimely death, the villagers understood the deeper truth. They believed that the queen snake had reclaimed what was promised to her. And deep in the forest, under the moonlight, the queen snake danced, surrounded by spirits in human form, welcoming Chidubem back to the world he had once known.